Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a city where the real estate market is, well, just as hot as the weather. Miami. We're going to explore why this sunny metropolis has become one of the most talked about and most dynamic markets in the entire country.
So let's start with a number. The number that's really at the heart of our story today. $580,000. That's the median price for a home in Miami right now, and it's a figure that's grabbing headlines and turning heads all over the nation.
And get this, that price isn't just sitting there. It has jumped 4.2% in just the last year. That is a crystal clear sign of powerful, sustained demand in a market that just keeps surprising everyone.
Okay, but a big number like that, it's never the whole story. So let's really dig in, because behind that price tag is this incredibly complex and fascinating mix of explosive growth, some pretty significant risks, and really unique opportunities for both buyers and investors.
All right, first things first, let's get a bird's-eye view of the market's vital signs as of late 2025. This will give us a really clear snapshot of what's happening on the ground right now.
Now, what we're looking at here is, well, it's kind of fascinating. You see these contradictions, right? On one hand, the total number of sales has cooled off a little, down 3%, but then you look at the other numbers. With more homes on the market, you'd think they'd take longer to sell, wouldn't you? Nope, they're actually selling 12.5% faster than last year. This tells you that even with more choices out there, the demand is so incredibly strong that homes are just getting snapped up almost immediately.
So, what's pouring all this fuel on the fire? What's driving this high-stakes, high-speed market? Well, it's not just one thing. It's actually a powerful combination of three key factors all working together.
And here they are, laid out plain and simple. We see strong population growth, a booming job market, especially in those high-paying tech and finance sectors, and mortgage rates that have dipped just enough to entice more buyers. You put those three things together, and man, you've created a perfect storm for housing demand.
And that population growth, it is very real. The Miami metro area is now home to over 6 million people, and it continues to be this huge magnet for folks migrating from states like New York and California. And guess what? They're bringing their capital and their demand for housing right along with them. Now let's zoom in a little bit, from that big picture down to the street level. Because Miami's residential market isn't just one thing. It's really a tale of two very distinct markets with their own dynamics. You've got single-family homes, and you've got condos.
And this comparison just lays that split out perfectly. For single-family homes, the median price has soared to $620,000. That is a serious affordability problem. Meanwhile, you look at the condo market. It's more affordable, sure, but it's facing its own set of challenges. Think rising insurance costs and buyers getting really careful about homeowner association regulations, the HOAs, especially when it comes to older buildings.
So who exactly is buying? Well, it's a real mix. Nearly a third of the market is now first-time buyers, and a lot of them are getting a boost from state assistance programs, which is fantastic. But Miami's global appeal is still as strong as ever, with international buyers from places like Canada and Latin America still making up a significant 22% of the market.
With home ownership becoming such a challenge for so many people, a lot of them are turning to renting. And this intense demand creates a very specific and potentially very lucrative set of opportunities for real estate investors.
And I mean, the rental market is incredibly tight. Rents are climbing sharply across the board. Look at luxury units, up a staggering 7% year over year. With a citywide vacancy rate of just 5.2%, landlords are definitely in a strong position, which signals a very healthy investment landscape.
So for investors, success in this market really requires a clear three-step playbook. First, you've got to target the right assets in those high-growth neighborhoods. Second, and this is absolutely critical, you have to rigorously account for rising insurance costs. That means stress testing your numbers for a potential 25% surge. And third, you leverage green building incentives like those for LEED-certified assets, the environmentally friendly buildings, to gain those tax advantages.
But the story here doesn't end with houses and apartments. The same forces drawing new residents are also transforming Miami's commercial landscape, fueling its rise as the Wall Street of the South.
While office and retail rents are showing really healthy growth, the real story, the star of the show, is industrial space. With asking rents soaring 10% year over year, this sector is absolutely booming. This is largely driven by the massive cargo volume at Port Miami and, of course, the explosive growth of e-commerce, which needs just tons of warehouse and distribution space.
Now let's look ahead. While the forecast for Miami remains pretty optimistic, there are some significant risks on the horizon that could definitely threaten this continued growth, like a tropical storm building offshore.
Projections for 2026 suggest a market that's going to continue to grow, but maybe at a more moderate, more sustainable pace. The key drivers are a potential dip in mortgage rates, which should help sales volume bounce back, leading to modest price growth of around 3.5%.
However, and this is a big however, this steady growth is facing some serious headwinds. The increasing frequency of major climate events is driving up insurance premiums, making homeownership even more expensive. The ongoing affordability crisis is pricing out a lot of local buyers, and new regulations like trade tariffs and bans on short-term rentals could really put a damper on key sectors of the market.
So this brings us to the ultimate question for Miami's future, right? Can its famous resilience and adaptability overcome the mounting risks it faces? This delicate balance between its incredible momentum and its growing vulnerabilities is what makes Miami one of the most fascinating and consequential real estate markets to watch in the world. The next few years will be a true test of its strength.